Thank you, Lucas. Good morning, everybody. It's so good to be back. For those of who doesn't know that I've been gone for 30 days? Okay. Yeah, we've all been off together. Anyway, it's good to get back. Especially nice to have Lucas precede me this morning. Lucas is in his third year at UMKC. He's a music major, just moved in an apartment down the street. So outside of the church, I see him, around the plaza from time to time, and it's really nice to be able to keep an eye on him. And actually, he's got 800 people keeping an eye on him since he lives in this neighborhood. I had a wonderful time. I went to the Northwest for about a week, and then I came back, and I just kind of hung around Kansas City, and I'd wander into the church and wander back. But, I have to tell you, towards the last week or 10 days, I really began to get a little bit restless, and I got bored. And yesterday was my first day back. I came down. The monks were putting together their mandala, which was beautiful. After that was done, I went in my office, and I started to work on my talk for today. And then I went back to the manse, which is the parsonage. And I was in jeans and a T-shirt, and I lay down on the couch, and I had my little notepad trying to figure out what was going to be said this morning. And then Jane, our wedding coordinator, came back, and she said, I have a young couple that needs a minister for a wedding. I said, that's great. Let me check my schedule. And she said, it's in 10 minutes. Seriously. They had a minister, but he didn't show up, and he didn't contact them. And she said, and the groom's in your office with directions. 10 minutes, and there's 150 people in the chapel waiting. And I said, okay. So I got up and went into my office, talked to the groom a little bit, and he left. And I was just sitting there all by myself thinking, God, I love this job. It is so good to be back. Yes. I also had a chance to spend some time with my cousin Ozzy while I was on vacation. And Ozzy's girlfriend, Tilly, her real name is Tuborg, which is kind of an unusual name. I'd never heard of that before, but they call her Tilly for short. Anyway, she had been suggesting to him that he wasn't quite acting normal as of late, and she was concerned about him. And she persisted to the point where Ozzy finally agreed to go to a doctor and have some sort of an assessment done to see if he was tracking. So he went to a psychiatrist, went in the office, and told him, I want to have some sort of a test or an assessment to see if I'm normal. The doctor said, okay, come with me. He got up and he led him into a bathroom, and there was a bathtub full of water. The doctor gave him a teaspoon, a coffee cup, and a coffee can. And he said, I want you to take the water. I want you to get the water out of the bathtub. And when you're done, come back into my office. So about an hour later, Ozzy came back, and he had the coffee can in his hand, and he says, there's no more water in the bathtub. I use the coffee can. Does that make me normal? And the doctor said, no. A normal person would have pulled the drain plug. Okay, welcome back. So normal is defined as typical, usual, or standard. And I have a question for you, a very simple question. It's a yes or no question. Do you consider yourself normal? And I don't want you to think too much about it. Go with the very first answer that comes to mind. Do you consider yourself normal? No. Do you consider me normal? No. Overwhelmingly, no. Anyway, to not consider yourself normal is good, because normal in this day and age in our culture is defined as having consistently high levels of stress and nervousness and fear and anxiety. That has become normal in the American culture. We're very anxious, and we have very high levels of stress. And there's two primary reasons for that. The first is we live in such a fast-paced, hurry up, get it done age that it's very intense just trying to keep up with the rapid pace that life is moving at. And that creates stress, and that has become normal. Now, I must distinguish between normal and natural because they're two totally different things. The universe has a nature of its own, a consistent nature that's existed for billions of years. That nature is inherent within every single living thing on the planet Earth. And it's only inside the human psyche that we find a wandering away from nature. We have the habit of overthinking things. When we run, especially things we have no control over, when we run into a problem or a challenge of some sort, we have a natural voice, an intuitive voice, an instinctual voice within us which will guide us. But we kind of step back from the problem or challenge and we think about it. And then we turn to a different angle and we think about it. 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 We way overthink things. And this leads to additional stress. And that isn't natural. Now the question is, why do we turn from that instinctive voice, that intuitive voice within us, which will give us direction, and overthink things in so many different ways that we get confused and we get worried and we get doubtful about our ability to handle it? Why is that? Now we know that our thoughts create our reality. And just for a moment, I want you to imagine something. Just for a moment, imagine that you have a superpower, and with this superpower, you're able to focus on a cloud, and by focusing on that cloud, you can make it grow, you can make it expand. And so one day, you're sitting there gazing at the sky, and you see a small little black cloud out there, just a speck of a black cloud. You start to focus on it. That black cloud begins to grow. And it begins to expand. And pretty soon that black cloud has covered the entire sky and cast a shadow over the bright light of your day and everything in your life. And you've got the power to do that. Well, it's very much like that when we have problems and challenges. The more we think about it, especially in a negative way or in a fearful way or in a worrisome way or in a doubtful way, and the more we think about it, the more those thoughts expand. What we think about expands. Thoughts are energy. Thinking generates energy. So what we think about expands. Whether it's good or whether it's bad, it doesn't make any difference. What we think about is going to expand. And so when we move into a problem or a challenge and we begin to think, I can't do this, we begin to think, I don't know why this has come into my life, that begins to expand and it becomes bigger and it becomes bigger, just like that cloud in the sky. It becomes bigger until it has cast a shadow across every single good thing in your life. And you've created it. You don't have the power to increase the size of clouds, but you do have the power to increase the size of your thoughts and the power behind them. We all have that power. So, and the answer to that is when we move to a problem or a challenge of any sort, and the minute the flag goes up that says, I don't know if I can do this or not, that is a signal, it is a sign, it is sometimes a siren that says, it's time to recruit faith. You have the power of faith within you, which can dismiss, can diminish all of those negative thoughts within you. And when that first thought comes up, in that split instant, you're going to make a decision. I can manage this. I can't manage this. I will make it through this. I don't know if I can make it through this or not. In that very first moment, so when you get that question, can I do this? That's the time you recruit faith. And you say, yes, I can do this. I can do this. You affirm it, and you begin that stream of thought to begin to build. Now, I want you to imagine for a moment that problems are like a journey. The one thing we know about problems and challenges and setbacks is that they have a beginning and they have an end. They have a start and they have the destination, which is the resolution of the problem or challenge. Just like a journey. So let's say, for instance, that you're going to make a journey from here in Kansas City to Southern California. Now, the very first question that's going to come into your mind is, can I make it? And if that answer is, I don't know, you probably won't even back the car out of the driveway. If that answer is, I don't think I can, you are going to dismiss the trip and you're just going to stay at home. Now, if you say, I can do it, You have to be prepared to say, I can do it. I don't know exactly how. I don't know what is going to happen on this trip. I know where I'm started. I know where I'm ended. I've got the map that tells me what roads to take, but I don't know if I'm going to get a flat tire or not. I don't know if I'm going to run into road construction. I don't know if there's going to be any sort of other things that stop my pleasant, peaceful journey. But I can do it. I will make it to my destination. I will make it to Southern California. There's absolutely no doubt about that. And it's that kind of faith that we need to incorporate in every aspect of our life. And the more difficult things are, the more faith we have to draw on. Faith is a spiritual attribute. It's inherent within the very makeup of your body. It never diminishes. It never runs out. It never disappears. It is always there, and you always have the choice. I can turn to faith in this particular instance, or I can turn to doubt. I can live with a sense of comfort knowing that I have what it takes to move through this, or I can move through this fearfully, or I can back up and not even approach it and just let it be a part of my life. You know, sometimes the problems and challenges that come into our life, they're just like a huge mountain that's been plopped down on the path of our lives. And we don't know how to get around it. It looks too steep to go over. It looks too big, and it's way too intimidating to even approach. So it stops us in our tracks, and we just sit there and we worry, and we fear. Jesus said, if you have faith the size of a seed of mustard, the size of a mustard seed, you can say, move mountain. Of course, he was talking metaphorically. What he was saying is, no matter how big the problem is, no matter how big the challenge is, no matter what you're facing, how difficult it might be, if you have faith, just the smallest amount of faith, you can diminish that mountain. You can move beyond it. You can go around it. You can go through it if you have to. But faith is that which allows you to overcome anything that hampers your peace of mind and your sense of well-being. It is faith that sees us through. If you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you can say, move mountain, and that mountain will move. So our lesson today is a very simple one. And it applies to young children, it applies to senior citizens, it applies to all of us in between. We've been given this tremendous spiritual attribute of faith to practice when things get tough. And once we do that, it becomes second nature to us. It's that intuitive voice within us that says, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. And you just move right on through it, and pretty soon you see that which plagued your happiness and your well-being is behind you. We're going to go into meditation here in a minute. We're going to have the second part of this next week, which is on patience. And faith and patience are the two attributes we have been given to totally lessen this abnormal experience we're having of high stress, high worry, and high anxiety. So for a moment, just allow yourself to be comfortable. Take a deep breath. Slowly exhale. And allow your thoughts to be filled with faith, filled with that knowing that goes beyond any understanding that you are here and you have every single thing you need to live the life you desire to live. Okay, just allow yourself to relax, become at ease. Faith is nothing more than a belief of conviction, a belief of knowing that you will be okay, that every difficult time passes. And when we're faced with a problem or a challenge, we don't know how we're going to solve it. We don't have to know when it is going to be solved. We don't have to know what is going to take place in the future. We just have to know that we have what it takes to move through it and take the first step. When Moses was leading the people out of Egypt, the Egyptian army was behind them, chasing them to bring them back. And as the legend goes, he came to the Red Sea. They were trapped. The army was closing in on them faster and faster. And it's that point in time where Moses took one step forward into the Red Sea, and the sea parted. And we know that's a legend, but the truth is there. When we move up against some obstacle that disrupts our life, we don't have to have the solution. We don't have to know what is going to happen next. We just have to take the next step. One step, and the way will be shown to us.
they